Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. I am your host, Lance Fishel. Jay, I believe, went to Bath and Body Works, so he's missing this week. Was that right?
He opened up this week again, so he's there. He's got to stock up. You know what? He doesn't even stock up on the kitchen lemon like a rational, sane human being. He just
he told me
sandalwood.
Well, he told me he wasn't going to wear a mask when he went to the store because he likes to really get the candle smell in there. So he'll walk just through the candle aisle and just waft it in there.
Do they have that new COVID line too?
I think so. What would it smell like if they had a COVID-19 candle?
Like
cigarettes? You know, the respiratory.
2 week unwashed butthole.
It would smell like the Ozarks.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, sorry I missed last week. I was in Hilton Head Island, social distancing it up on a beach. You know,
you don't have to make excuses. Think about it, I wouldn't have showed up last week either.
You didn't show up the week before either. But
that's because I didn't want that's because I didn't want to. So I was in Hilton Head this week. It wasn't that crazy busy, and the beach seems like one of the easiest places to stay away from each other. The beach is massive.
Crowd is fucked.
It wasn't that bad, and like the pool wasn't that busy. The restaurants we went in to get food was like half full. So yeah, that was the first maintenance restaurant in like 3 months. It was great. I had 77 pina coladas.
Thanks. And as a bald, like approaching middle-aged white male, if you go up to anybody on the beach, they just think you're a sexual predator. So you're good.
They stay away.
Well, if you wear the Mickey Mouse shirt, they just it's good. I just walk up to random children on the beach and like, hi, you stay here.
Oh my!
So I did watch the card. I got back home. I drove all the way from Hilton Head back to Nashville on Saturday, about 8 hours or so. So got back, watched the card, and it was a fun card for what it was. And we'll go through the fights. But I think this kind of brings up we were just talking before the show started. Is everyone before this card said it was the worst card they have ever seen. And then some people after the card said, see, you can't judge a card like on paper. Oh, so mad. When I get excited for a fight, certain fights. Now, I get excited for fights in general. I like to watch fights. They're back. It's fun. Now, you don't get excited for fights that just happen on Saturday because there's nothing important that can happen. There's no important fights. There's nothing that's going to change in the divisions. There's literally nothing exciting or important that can happen. Now, because a bunch of good guys finish bad guys, that doesn't mean it's a good card. I was entertained, just like I am when I watch, Curb Your Enthusiasm or some kind of television show. That doesn't mean it was a great card. It was a shitty card that had some finishes.
You can go to a regional.
Like watching a double-A baseball game instead of a major league game.
Yeah. You get hammered, you have fun, you get entertained. And then you go home. The next day you don't wake up and go, oh my God, did you see that fucking single in the 7th inning by this guy who's never going to even get a cup of coffee? Did you see that? Wow. We're going to talk about that for weeks. No, you wake up and you don't even remember who won. I worked in the minor leagues for 5 years.
It's just like you can see knockouts like that on a regional show. It could just be fucking nobodies, some 5-5 guys going against each other, and one guy gets knocked out in the minute. It was a cool knockout, but who cares?
Nothing of importance.
Honestly, when there's repeated under a minute knockouts or finishes of any kind, it just keeps happening. You just end up with super long breaks in between fights, and it's like there's so much dead time where they're building up towards these fights that you don't give a fuck about anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
it was on ESPN, like the TV channel, and so they weren't going to be speeding up anything. They were they had their timeshare. They got to sell because it's.
Was it all on ESPN?
Yeah.
That's.
Yep. It was, I enjoyed it enough. I had something on the side TV and I was watching it. But you know what made it worse? And you made a point, there's so much dead time, right? You know what they filled that dead time with? Stories about
Jessica
Jessica I.
Fuck yeah.
I swear to God, I watched 4 hours of promos for Jessica I, who's the most unlikable human. She's one of the most unlikable fighters I've ever seen. B, one of the most boring fighters ever. And then C, terrible at fighting. Just a trifecta there. And I watched 5 hours of that. And then I watched that fight. And then that fight happened. It happened. It did.
Sure
it
did.
Definitely, I think. I don't remember.
You know how you have a legit division? When a fighter moves up to your weight class and takes out the first overall or the number one ranked,
it moves to number 2
division, like easily.
It's
like,
favored versus the number one, going up and favored versus the number one contender. That's women's flyweight. That's women's fighting, really, in general. And I haven't pulled up the card to go through these cards yet. Actually, pulled it up without looking. Could you name 4 fights that took place this past Saturday?
I remember that Feely and Jourdain was good.
And like what happened?
I think between the 3 of us, we couldn't recreate the card. Think of that. We don't even know what happened a few days ago, and there's nothing else going on in sports.
And we're about to talk about it.
And we're about to talk about it. We're going to relive the moment.
Try to remember.
Like we got to get away from being entertained and a great fight card. A great fight card was that Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson card. That's a great fight card. There were several really good fights. The main event was amazing. There was a lot of stuff that changed throughout divisions because of those fights. This, no, fucking nothing. But let's go through it anyway. So the first fight was, honestly, I've seen a lot of fights in my time. I think we all have. It's Christina Aguilera defeating Anthony Ivy by knockout. Was that the biggest quit job you have ever seen in your life? I can't think of one more. I can't think of a time I've seen a guy quit that quickly.
The only other one that comes to mind is Walt Harris and Nikita Krylov, where he like sort of got kicked in the head and he was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro."
Hard good.
This dude took a glancing jab and like backed up 3 steps, like, whoa.
Looked like he had 14 beers in 5 minutes.
I'm watching the replay. I'm like, I must have missed something. And when I was watching, I was like, maybe it was like just a solid temple shot or something. And he just caught him like in the perfect spot. And I'm watching the replay. I was like, this dude just got wobbled from a jab. Like, it's fixed, quit, or the worst chin literally ever.
Yeah, that's a bad one. It happened. Two debuting fighters.
Yep. I forgot that happened until I just looked this up. Just want to put it out there. All right. So next we had Tyson Nam defeating Zaruk Adashev. That guy was fat.
Oh, he was real fat. Zaruk is on fire.
That quarantine weight.
Dude, it's hard to find a fat bantamweight. That's only a 135-pound man. Like, how do you get fat? I thought Tyson Nam looked good in the short period of time. That was a big knockout, but I think that's Tyson Nam. It's either it's a little bit kind of like, like a Yoel. It's either coming forward and getting clean knockouts, or he's just kind of dancing around not doing much. So we got the Tyson Nam who landed a big punch and put him out.
Hopefully it gets us a cheaper price fading him next time.
Yeah, he is what he is. He's got big power. You lost money?
Yeah.
He took the kickboxer.
You bet
get knocked out.
You bet on the fat guy? I love him. No, he was fat. You don't bet on fat people unless they're heavyweights.
I didn't know he was fat at the time.
You
think I do research? Come on.
So speaking of quit jobs, next up in the women's bantamweight division, Julia Avila defeated Gina Mazzani, and I watched this fight. It was nothing. I think she caught her with like a gust of wind, and then it was over.
Nice.
And then I'm scrolling through, like an hour in the night, Sean had tweeted something, and I was like, I wonder who Sean bet on tonight. And I pull it up. Sean had 4.5 units on this fight.
What the fuck was I doing? God damn it.
Sean
what was your bet?
You're a 1 or 2 unit a bet guy per fight max. You bet 4.5 units on the over, and goes the distance, and it ended in under a minute.
All right, so my thinking in this fight is I walk in, I'm like, the ghost decision prop was the first play I made. It's just a small 1 unit play. I thought that was going to be it. Then my sketchy Russian book put a line on 1.5, which is like completely off market. Like all the other books had 2.5. So I was like, fuck it, I'll put the over on that. The chick gotta survive. I mean, it's fucking 135-pound women.
That girl works at the Waffle House.
And then I sprinkled on Mazzani by decision because it was plus 1,000. So I was
Yeah,
like,
fuck it. Yeah.
And I just dug an absolute huge hole. Like, what the fuck am I doing? That's quarantine.
That's
Betting
boredom.
that kind of money on a fucking terrible chick fight.
That's like me throwing a chunk on a team called Sheffield today.
You should see some of the soccer bets I've been making.
Oh, you dude.
I've been betting on Estonian soccer. It's great.
I would say I've
3-1 last 2 days.
I've bet on at least 50 Bundesliga games.
Are you getting into Bundesliga 2 and 3 at this time? At this point,
I will not go down to the secondary stuff. But I've learned quite a bit about Bundesliga, and then Dortmund loses to some team I've never heard of today.
Mainz.
That doesn't seem real. I thought someone made that up. Like it was like esports versus Bundesliga. I don't know. But sports are starting to come back besides baseball, so that's good. All right, so
lacrosse is coming back, baby. Woo.
Yes, I'm very
Everyone's excited for that, Brad.
Yep. The dogs are freak. Turk's excited. Can you hear him?
Turk is very excited. Holy shit.
Very excited. So next we move up to a catchweight fight from a short notice, which is Merab Dvalishvili versus Gustavo Lopez, 30-26, 30-26, and 30-25. I am not a big fan of this guy.
I don't think Brad is either.
No.
I think Jay loves him, right? Is Jay the one who loves him?
He does.
I think he's pretty good, but it showed a bit in this fight.
He's a good wrestler, but he can't do anything else. He doesn't do anything with his wrestling.
It's just
doesn't ground and pound. He doesn't throw any strikes.
He does nothing.
Yeah.
He takes you down.
Yeah. I mean, he's unbelievable at that. Like,
is he? Do we know yet?
I mean, eventually he's gonna get up against somebody who's decent, but
he's so boring.
There's not that. I know it's boring. It's fucking worse than Khabib was way back when.
It is.
But like that wrestling is so fucking good. Even if every guy gets up just like they always do against him, he can't control him once he takes him down. Nobody can really stop that, and I don't know how high he can get before somebody stops that because that wrestling is so good.
Yeah, but. Does the wrestling matter if you can't hold him down? Because as soon as he faces someone that's a good striker, which if you look at his last like 4 or 5 fights, he hasn't wrestled any good strikers whatsoever. He's been fighting horrible fighters.
I mean, he's had a couple of guys pull out. I'm pretty sure late. Like
not blaming him,
taking a step up. Yeah,
not blaming him, but let's say he's facing a guy with great striking, and he has to keep taking him down. There's way too much time on the feet with this guy. He doesn't throw ground and pound. He doesn't threaten submissions. He has nothing on the feet. He offers nothing on the feet. And if he's having to work for 100 takedowns a fight, like he's gonna tire out versus some of these guys that can just stand and bang and knock him out. I think he's gonna beat on guys outside the top 15. I think if he faces anyone worth the shit with some good hands, he's gonna get his ass kicked.
And even when he's on the ground, if he starts facing guys who can actually grapple, he's going to run into some problems too because he lets guys scramble. He leaves so much space for guys to work when they're on their back against him. So there's a lot of gaps to fill for Merab,
the Georgian wrestler.
Yeah. No thanks. All right, so we move up now. Let's skip this one. Mariah Agapova.
Man, some people are pumped on Agapova.
Of course they are. I don't know who that is still.
I saw some touts who got real excited that they got minus 180 as opposed to 300 on their $100 opener.
She was really annoying. I was annoyed by this girl.
Yeah. I mean, Cyphers is terrible. I mean, she was beating Mackenzie Dern a couple of weeks ago and then is an absolute moron and let her just stay in her guard. So, yeah, I don't know.
In an attempt to make you feel better, Sean, are you ready for this?
Let's go.
I bet on Hannah Cyphers this fight.
What did you get on Hannah Cyphers?
How many units?
250?
Half of 1 unit.
How big of a number did you get on her?
I got it early. It wasn't a big number.
Fuck, man. What are you doing?
Oh, first of all, I'm glad I didn't. It's fine. What's not the difference? I would have still bet it, and it wouldn't matter. Half a unit. I was like, I've never heard of this Agapaga girl, and Hannah Cyphers has been there, so I bet on Hannah Cyphers, and bad beat.
Yeah, definitely a bad beat. I feel it, Lance. It happens.
Yeah.
Sean knows all about Ogopogo living out west.
I was still up though. I've been on a fucking heater in MMA the last month. So I had to give a little back just to be fair, so I don't get cut off or anything.
That's fair.
Exactly.
So, all right. So let's move on now to bantamweight. Jordan Espinosa defeated Mark De La Rosa by decision. That Espinosa looked good. Nothing too interesting here, I would say. I thought it was pretty much how I expected it to go. A lot of people are on De La Rosa. Yeah, he's not good at fighting.
Not good. Doesn't do anything.
I have literally no memory of this fight. I thought De La Rosa was going to sub him.
He did not. He did nothing. He got punched a lot. Next up, featherweight division, Andre Fili versus Charles Jourdain. Is that how you say it? Jourdain? Jourdain. Air Jordan. I scored this for Andre Fili. I know it was a split decision. I saw some people score it the other way. How did you guys see this?
I thought Fili won.
Yeah, I think it's pretty easy, 29-28.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Second and third.
Jordan looked good for a young guy, but
he just can't
Fili was just more well-rounded.
When you're getting out-wrestled by Andre Fili, it's not
good.
Greatest sign.
Well, I couldn't figure out why Fili wouldn't shoot more takedowns. Like I was pretty heavy on Fili, and I thought he would wrestle because he's facing a Canadian that's not named George St. Pierre.
Eventually, but he got clipped a bit before he had to.
It was worrisome how long he took and waited till the end when he could have just taken him down and beat him up. But
yeah.
Anyway,
not the sharpest.
Next up, Charles Rosa versus Kevin Aguilar. I don't know why. I felt like this could have been an interesting fight. I could not pay attention to this fight. I don't know why. Maybe it was because it was two jiu-jitsu guys just throwing bombs at each other that weren't very good.
They weren't bombs.
They weren't bombs.
Firecrackers instead of bombs.
Yeah. So it looked like it could have been exciting if I was paying attention, but at this point, I was pretty much just not paying attention.
Wes was pretty salty about losing his split decision here. He had Aguilar.
Everyone I saw
one, where I have no opinion of it. It was fine. I can't be mad at either decision.
Well, I looked at Twitter. Everyone had Rosa winning on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then I went to MMA Decisions, which I know MMA writers are idiots, right? Like we know this.
Yes.
But when the vast majority scores one way, it is a good way to judge how you see a fight.
Yeah.
And in MMA Decisions, there was 1, 2, 3. There was 14 people who scored the fight. 14 scored it for Rosa.
Yeah.
So Wes,
he gets those glasses on, when he puts down some money. So
he knows it though.
He does. He knows. Yeah. He always prefaces it.
He knows
you get goggles going on.
Yeah. He knows when he gives a score on a bet that he made in a close fight that it's good just to throw that out. Like I'll be on the same side as Wes on some bets, and he always posts round scores. And it'd be like, ooh, close round. I'll go 10-9 insert fighter. And I'm on the same side going, ugh, that might have been 10-8. Wes.
Shit.
So we did have some we had some Twitter comments or YouTube comments. So George Johnstone, Pennington and Torres can become.
He's a new commenter.
I haven't seen him yet. Pennington and Torres can become the first married couple to both be cut after a loss on the same night. That is, we can make history. How women's MMA would that be? That would be good.
But I'm Tisha's lover.
Yes, that's a good point. Oh, bro hugs. Okay, let's move on here to the co-main event, which was to me another quit job. A lot of quitting going on here. Marvin Vettori defeated Carl Robertson by submission. I think everyone was on Vettori here. It seemed like Robertson didn't want to fight the first time. Seemed like he didn't want to fight this time. He missed weight. He went for something early on, didn't get it, and then just covered up till the fight was over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The more I saw leading up to this fight, the more comfortable I was betting Vettori. And eventually I ended up just doing a Vettori points bet, so Vettori minus 3.5, and that was one of the saving graces of my night.
I don't know how good he is, but he looks good, and he looks the part, and he's gotten a lot stronger and juicing up a bit over the last few years, and he got a little bit crazy in him.
Yeah, he seems pretty dumb, like an MMA fighter. So
he's an Italian meathead.
Mm-hmm.
The first time this matchup, I actually put a bet on our buddy, the Italian Stallion, at like minus 160, and I couldn't get that this time, so I was like, fuck it, I'll pass. And then I was talking with Wes on the Zoom chat right before the fight, and he's like, man, inside the distance is like plus 300. And I was like,
was it
shit?
really?
Yeah, and then at Bet 365, it was plus 350. So right before the fight, I put a unit on that. Fuck,
nice.
that was a nice, easy one. I couldn't believe it was that high.
Wow, I didn't even notice.
Yeah,
I mean, Robertson quit. Quick.
That was a hard quit job. He didn't want to be there. He making weight twice in a row. Just doesn't want to be there collecting a check.
Yep.
He's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Vettori, I mean, he fought pretty decent against Adesanya. I know that was early in his UFC career, but I mean, that's still something. And he's got a pretty well-rounded game. So it'll be interesting to see what he's matched up next. He could probably get a pretty decent fighter.
Well, considering there was basically no ranked fighters on this entire card, like literally, if you look at the card, like there's like no ranked fighters on this entire
the main
card.
event who lost.
No, I said fighters. You must have misunderstood.
My bad.
Vettori, if I had one takeaway of anything that happened on this card, it would probably be Vettori.
Yeah.
Not that Robertson's some kind of world beater, but I think Vettori, coming out of this, I'd like to see him fight someone a little bit better. Maybe someone towards 15th, 14th, something around there in the rankings. Because I thought he looked good, and I'm interested to see what he can do next.
He's the type of guy that wouldn't look out of place on a real card.
That card was the worst I've ever seen, and it wasn't. If they were gonna give me like Calvillo as a main event, like I should have had fucking just bangers all card, just dudes, oh hi Jay. Just dudes going to town and like good fighters, but they put a
dudes going to town is the first thing I heard.
Yeah,
of course.
Just
that's all we've been talking about.
And Calvillo as a main event, and then no ranked fighters on the entire card. That's what we had. We were just breaking down the card, saying it was one of the worst cards ever.
The weird part was I was going to pick I before, but then obviously the weight whole thing. She really is a mook.
Wes wanted to give you shit. He was talking about on the Zoom call. He's like, Jay told me that I was a level above Calvillo on the feet, and she was getting tuned up by a overweight fucking strawweight.
Calvillo's terrible striker.
She is. So is I.
So bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
So you guys broke down the previous card?
Yeah, we're gonna skip the main event. We actually just got to the main event, so we're gonna skip that main event. We're done. Yeah.
It happened.
It did happen. Nothing important. I already forgot it. Before we started breaking down the card, we said, hey, without looking, can anyone name a couple fights from the card on Saturday? And we were all like, no, I don't remember anything. I forgot everything that happened on that card.
Except for Tyson Nam knocking that dude stiff.
No, we forgot about that. We actually didn't even know who Tyson Nam was. Isn't it Nam?
Vietnam?
Yeah.
Remember Nam.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Is he one of the five bloods? No.
So, yeah. Now we
I don't get that reference.
That's fine. You don't watch enough movies.
No, you watch too many.
Nobody watches enough movies, according to you, Jay.
Jay, you got any White Claws?
I have lime ones.
Nice. Have you had the grapefruit? Tremendous. Grapefruit's the best one.
It's funny. I bought a pack over the weekend just because I thought like my wife and my daughter would like them. And
yeah, stop lying.
They don't love it. They don't love it.
That's stupid.
They're on this like strawberry lemonade Mike's Hard thing. I'm like, I'll pass. Yeah, it's way too sugary.
Not good.
The claw thing, it just tastes like seltzer water, like with some flavoring. Or like when you were a kid and you had like those those fruit flavored ice pops. It just has that taste to me. There's not much.
Great.
If I was a kid and those things got me drunk, I'd be in heaven.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know until it's too late, I guess.
Yeah, it's the best kind of drunk.
Hell yeah. Sneaks up on
I don't know. Lance and I appreciate the finer alcohols. There's something to be said about drinking real liquor.
So I'm either like
not
I'm
to get
on
drunk.
way on one side or way on the other. I'm either
That's fair.
drinking like super expensive scotch or Miller Lights and White Claws.
Hell yeah. Classy.
It depends how much you're drinking. That's my feeling.
I'll drink really whatever in front of me. Besides
Yeah.
Bud Light, I can't do Bud Light. I'd rather just not drink.
I hate Coors Light. I think it tastes.
I don't like. Yeah, the only regular like light domestic I'll drink is Miller Light. Like 95% of what I drink is like old fashioned Scotch or just.
I feel you could learn a lot
random
about
beers.
a person if you ask them to rank light beers: Miller Light, Bud Light, and Coors Light. 1, 2, 3, and depending on their answer, it tells you a lot about the person.
Isn't everybody Miller, then Coors, then Bud?
Well, Bud,
Probably not.
not Miller, Bud, Coors, but Miller's by far number one. People tell me Coors is their favorite of the three. I don't know what to tell you.
It tastes like watered down.
It is
tea.
water. It is water.
Watered down beer piss.
Bud Light's real bad too, though. I mean, Bud Light is just despicable. I'd rather not drink than like if it was like, hey, we only have Bud Light on tap. I'd be like,
That I
On
disagree
a hot
with.
summer day, I call bullshit.
no, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
No.
Maybe if it's like the fourth pitcher and you don't tell me that you made the switch, maybe.
But
What about Banquet? Coors Banquet.
it's okay.
It's better than Coors Light.
Way
Yes, sir.
better.
That's not even a competition.
Yeah, Banquet's not bad.
But beer is one of those things. Like after you get through like 4, like or 5, like if you're doing heavier beers, it's like you don't even like. It's just you're just hurting yourself for tomorrow once you start going.
Yeah.
You might as well just switch to like lightest beer possible and just throw
Yeah.
'em.
So I don't. If I'm at home, I will not drink good beer. I don't buy good beer ever. I just don't. I buy shitty beer and White Claws and stuff. If I'm at a bar, I almost never drink domestics. I just drink whatever's go through the tap.
Well, there's great domestics. It's just not. I know what you mean.
That's
Yeah.
I always get like local beers and like pricier beers when I go out and buy stuff for home because I enjoy it, just sit back and hang out. Did all
I
that
like
it,
noise
though.
that happens
If I
in
go
a
to
bar.
If I'm at a bar, I usually get like 2 beer. I usually get 2 of kind of like what I'm really interested in on the menu, and then I just switch over to like my
Something generic.
like usually Miller Lite or something like or a Yingling, something just like a 5% or lower. Just then, if you're gonna keep going, there's no point in spending $7-8 on like an 8% beer. Plus, you're not gonna enjoy it as much. So
Yeah.
it's not worth
When
it.
was the last time you've been to a bar?
It's been a long time. A real bar?
Yeah.
I'm assuming March.
What about you, Sean?
Oh, probably before Christmas. I don't really go to bars.
What the fuck?
I just drink at home.
Mine probably would have been like the week before.
Do you not
COVID.
like bars, New Sean?
Yeah, like what's the point?
You don't like bar. You don't like bar culture.
Like
I know
I
Lance
don't know,
does.
too many people. I'm a fucking weirdo. I like hanging out at home
Oh,
with a couple people.
There's a real human.
flex.
Say hi.
Flex.
Show your muscles.
Show us your forearm.
Show your muscles.
There's the real.
There it
Lance,
is.
roll the shirt down a little bit. Show us a little
You
forearm.
want to show me? Want to show me your big muscles?
Lance, do you miss bars?
For those people that are listening and
I was at a bar on Friday.
watching, that
Did you miss it?
Lance's kid,
Did I-
much better
did-
looking than Lance.
Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Still has hair.
Yeah, I had like 5,000 pina coladas last week. At the
I
beach.
didn't mean like the drinking at the bar. I meant just like the concept of the bar and the
I
hangout.
didn't really do that much. No, I just walked up and got drinks and then left. I'm supposed to go to lunch.
What do you mean
at
you just got
sports-
drinks and left? Like you pick up and go?
I was at a beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. That's
Give me a
different.
pina colada.
Yeah, it's outdoor bar, different thing.
Yeah.
It's not even a real bar.
Well, I went to some indoor bars and stuff too. Like they have some indoor sections you can go to and things like that. And the hotel, I stayed in Macon on the way because we stopped on the way in Macon, Georgia, and
What is
everything was
Macon?
closed.
Never been there.
Making what?
It's about an hour and a half. So there was an old baseball team, minor league team, might have been independent league. It was the Macon Whoopie. Was their name?
Oh, good
Oh,
shit. That's good shit.
It's
That's
about an
good
hour.
dad humor.
It's about an hour and a half south of Atlanta, and everything was closed.
What does their logo look like?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
It's either a whoopie pie or something extremely sexual.
Maybe both.
Hope
A whoopie pie into.
Yeah, whoopie. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm supposed to go to lunch on Friday with a couple buddies that I haven't seen in a few months that I work with. So we're going to some sports bar thingy. So that'll be my
Indoor,
first
outdoor?
trip. indoor, like a regular sports bar. It's in Old Hickory, Tennessee.
I don't know where that is.
Not exactly a very populated area.
Why are you going there? Because
so
it's open.
It's like no, everything's open here. Broadway is completely.
So why
open
would you go? How far is that from where you live?
It's like 20 minutes, like away from downtown.
So farther.
It's like an hour away from downtown.
It's like 40 minutes away from downtown.
I see. Further away from where you live. Further away from Nashville. Got it.
So I'm like in between this place and downtown.
And why are you going there?
So my buddy lives like 30 minutes outside the city, and like people have asked me I want to go to lunch.
Lance driving to somebody. This seems like amazing. I can't picture you actually going to somebody else's house.
Well, he's in White House, which is even farther away. He has like a 20-minute drive too.
I thought that was like hours away from you.
White House?
Yeah, White House.
40 minutes.
Not
an
airplane.
Not Washington D.C.
Not the White House.
The White House.
Come on.
White House.
Come on.
I mean, Lance has a friend in the White House.
What kind of American are you?
So I'm not going downtown. The protesting in Nashville is definitely still rampant, and there's Corona all over the place. And I'm just not going to those bars. Like Jay, I'm sure you saw the pictures of like Kid Rock's bar and stuff.
Yeah,
they had like 5,000 people in the bar like this on top of each other. And like, oh yeah, well you're fined $12.
What is that? A country? Was that country bar? What is it?
So every country musician, yeah, it's on Broadway, that main strip that we went on.
Else, yeah.
And it's been packed apparently at every bar down there, just absolutely packed. So I'm not going to downtown Nashville until 2021. But I'm cool going to local place around here. There's like no cases in my area and outside and stuff. So I'll do that.
Safer, probably smart.
I'm not going downtown. No fucking way. Not a thing. Nope. Can't do it. Anyway, should we cover the card?
Sure.
This week's card.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So, new Sean, remind me before we start. We have our unbeaten streak still alive, but the first leg of it got canceled.
Yeah.
Of our
Tout special chalk parlay.
The Tout scum parlay. Yeah.
Please remind the listeners what the parlay is. What remains of the parlay? I almost wanted to like retweet out like, okay, we're just gonna our new bet.
No, after you put in a bet, you can't just cancel it.
It's there.
No, I don't want to make this bet anymore.
We could have had another bet on Merab, who just set the UFC record for most takedowns.
Jay, we already talked about how he sucks.
Yeah, he sucks.
Thank God I wasn't here for that.
He's terrible.
I defended him, but
Lance, he's not terrible. He never loses.
He's lost 4 times in his career.
Yeah,
3 times, I think. And
I'm pretty sure it's 4.
Dude, he lost to Ricky Simone and
he knocked himself out, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was way ahead in that fight and blew it. Now it was like 3 years ago.
He lost to Frankie. I saw the signs, but he did beat Terry and Ware. But he did beat Terry and Ware, Brad Katona, Casey Kenny, and Gustavo Lopez. So I'm thinking title shot. After that, just fucking murders. We don't need to talk about it. He can't strike. He has no ground and pound, and he has no submissions. Next.
So this week's card also in Vegas at the Apex. I get it's
compared
way
to
better than last
week.
week.
I say like 7.6. It's a pretty deep card.
Dude, the fucking
7.6 on a real scale or
Max Roscoff.
Yeah. Bet him.
Got him.
There's something going on here. I like this card. I do.
There's some good stuff.
There's some good stuff, and there's not a lot of like. Okay, there's a lot of names on this card. Let's leave it at that.
Max Roscoff, though. Yeah.
All right. Yes. So first fight, it's a 7-fight prelim card. Someone tell me about this roster. I don't have my grades in front of me, so no grades for people tonight. But
he's good.
We're gonna have to make upgrades as we go.
Different computer,
and I'm late. NC State Wolfpack, right?
Yeah, NC State ACC champ. Had a ton of injuries towards the end of his career.
So Austin Hubbard,
everybody from NC State.
Austin Hubbard, Max Roscoff. I've heard some things about this guy being a pretty good prospect. Lance, you're saying he's a ACC champion wrestler?
Yeah. So he went to NC State, which has produced a lot of good MMA. Caldwell and some other guys.
Darian Caldwell.
He's good. Real good wrestling. Would have done a lot better. He got injured. I think his junior year. He tore something in his shoulder or elbow or something like that. But he was an ACC champ, and in wrestling, ACC is actually really good at wrestling. It's not Big Ten, But ACC is.
Who are the
good.
other good school? Wow, we're going on a tangent here, but who are the other? I know nothing about ACC wrestling.
Virginia Tech, NC State, North Carolina is okay. Those are the three of the main ones. But ACC has been coming on really
State
strong.
was by far the best, if I remember correctly. I think they've had fighters like in the final four, from what I've seen, at least a couple.
Virginia Tech has some real strong guys too.
Okay.
But NC State is very, very strong. But the ACC is not bad. They're getting better and better. But yeah, Roskov's good. I mean, he won the ACC at 165. He's a solid wrestler. And from what I've seen on him, because I always follow the wrestlers, as you know, he's looked pretty damn good.
His grappling has come across real nice in MMA.
He's training under Drysdale, I believe.
Which is not a bad thing if you want to learn how to.
No, so he's gonna sub
Drysdale,
whatever this guy's name is.
Undefeated MMA fighter, I think he is.
I think he was 1-0 and then did a bunch of steroids or something.
All right, so I guess Lance is taking him to win. I knew Brad was going to use that as his nickname. That's fine.
I was just seeing it now.
Dushan, give us a bet here. I have a feeling you bet this fight.
Yeah, I like the same dude. He's unreal, and Austin Hubbard's terrible.
Where's he fought?
Who's he fought?
Titan.
Are you talking
Titan.
about Roscoff?
Yes, Roscoff. I don't care about Hubbard.
Titan and then FFC.
What the hell's FFC?
Is that the Fury one that a bunch of guys came from?
No, it's Final Fight Championship. So I don't know
what
if
that is.
Yeah,
he
hasn't fought great people. That's for sure.
It doesn't matter. He's good.
He has very good wrestling, but he's a bit untested. But I think he is gonna absolutely wrestle fuck Austin Hubbard. Like I said,
we saw Mark
Madsen able to take him down. Yeah, I mean Madsen's a good wrestler. He was able to take him down a ton, but Davi Ramos isn't anything too special. Isn't
Madsen a great wrestler?
Yeah, he's a great wrestler. So I'm saying it doesn't say much because he's a very, very good wrestler.
He's an Olympic medalist, right?
Correct.
Yeah. But if Ramos can also take you down, then you got problems. So I was able to get minus 109 on this guy. It's kind of ballooned. It was a pretty terrible opener. Some people even got like plus 120.
Was that opener bet online?
Very, very bad lines. So I got 2 units on him at minus 109.
Okay. I haven't bet anything yet.
Brad?
Any fight.
Yeah, I'm on the same page here. I think that Roskov's wrestling is going to come in to play real handy here. Like this Hubbard guy, he looks kind of all right against guys that can't wrestle him, but he's facing a guy that can very much wrestle him. So he's going to get wrestled. And Roskov's, as I said, he's developed his submission game really well to go along with his wrestling early in his career. So I wouldn't be shocked to see a pretty quick submission here either. And I also bet him at, I think I only got 145, but I'll take it.
Lance, I assume you're betting this fight?
Yeah, I hadn't seen the line.
You're gonna find a way in. You're probably gonna parlay him with Blaydes if I had to ask.
Yeah, or maybe I'll take him by stoppage, depending on the line. But yeah, I'll
those props just came out tonight.
I don't even know who Austin Hubbard is.
Him inside is plus 140.
Dude, Austin Hubbard lost to Eric Wisely a few years ago. What?
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now.
That's tough.
Hey, Eric Wisely is on an 11-fight win streak.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
See, I gotta look this up.
Yep. He flew out of the UFC.
Wow.
And then he went to Bellator.
Unbeaten streak. There's a draw there.
Sorry. And then he went to Bellator and lost to John Alessio.
I see that.
And since then, he hasn't lost a fight. He's
I don't remember
11-0-1.
He hasn't fought in 2 years. Do you remember when Dubronx shredded his calf?
Of course we did.
That was one of the greatest subs ever.
That was great. I have no bet on this fight, but I've certainly seen some clips, and he certainly looks impressive. But I'll sit this one out. Let these guys make their money, and then we'll talk about it another day. All right. Oh man, just what the doctor ordered. Lance's absolute favorite fighter, Lauren Murphy, taking on Brad's favorite fighter, Roxanne Modafferi. Oh my god.
You know, it's just really disrespectful when they bury the flyweights on the undercard like this. I can't believe it. These guys, they're high profile like Jessica I. This should be at least a co-main event.
Yeah.
I mean, Modafferi's better than I. So.
Remember how we were talking, Lance, at the start of the podcast when it's quarantine and I'm putting way too much money on shitty women?
Oh, did you bet this fight?
What did you do?
I did bet this fight.
Why?
Who did you bet? I don't even know.
Who did you bet?
I don't even know the difference between the two of them.
I took Lauren Murphy plus 125 per unit.
Boy.
If you're gonna give me plus money against Roxanne Modafferi, I gotta take it, even though it's only 1 unit. It's terrible.
Even though that's worked out like 1 out of 10 times in the past.
I really don't like
years.
this idea.
And then I put Goes Decision in a parlay for 1 unit.
I mean, Brad, I don't know. It's already done. The damage is already done. So
I am completely on board with the Goes to Decision bet in this case. Because there is no chance that either one of these two is finishing each other.
I don't want to see them finish each other either.
Minus 265. It's a fucking terrible line. No,
Lance is abstaining from comment, I imagine here.
I can't. I don't remember Lauren Murphy. Is this her debut?
When you see her, you'll remember her.
She's fought in the UFC since 2014.
Interesting.
Maybe she's been employed by the UFC since 2014. Let's be clear. I'm taking Modafferi here. I still think there's a huge advantage on the mat for her, assuming it gets there. So, yeah, I've lost money.
She posted a picture recently, and she's jacked.
Modafferi jacked. Oh wow, this is breaking news.
Yeah, Magma
Probably
Fairy.
Probably been spent a lot of time in the garage. Very understandable. Much better fight. One of my favorite fights on the entire card. Frank Macho Camacho taking on Matt Frevola. This is going to be pure fireworks, Nick Sean, right?
Yeah, it should be fun. Matt Frevola, not the best, but he can take a punch and he's got some pretty good cardio. Camacho, he went on that I guess he didn't really go on a run. I guess he had that big win, against Nick Hine. But
he had one awesome win.
In hindsight, that's not the greatest win.
Big win versus Nick Hine. He was on a long winning streak. Actually, he beat Nick Hine once.
Hyped up because of how he looked in that fight. And we got minus 160 on Dariush against him.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, I did remember that.
Didn't he face Dober and Dober beat the brakes off him?
I don't remember anything.
Negative.
I'm tired.
Oh, yeah. Dober beat him by decision. He didn't finish him. But, yeah, he beat the shit out of him.
Dober beats up a lot of people. There was something today about most underrated. There's someone made a tweet most underrated fighter in MMA and said Jeff Neal. I don't know. Dober's up there.
Who's Jeff Neal?
There you go.
Jeff Neal's actually pretty good.
So is Drew Dober.
Yeah, Drew Dober's very good.
Dober's so good looking.
Of course, you'd like him. He's got hair.
It's great. He's a good looking man.
I got nothing this fight. I don't really know what the fuck's going to happen. I think it's probably lined right with it being damn near a coin flip. I'll pick Frevola.
Mm-hmm. Bradley?
Yeah, I'm on the other side as far as a pick goes. I just think that Camacho has faced much better fighters. Frivola's faced the list of all the most overhyped guys in the UFC over the past couple of years. His last 3 fights, Lando Venata.
Oh, yeah.
That Jalen Turner, super lanky kid that sucks.
Yeah, can't
and then the dude with the fro that people like because he's got a stupid nickname.
But he didn't win that fight for Vola, in my opinion.
No, he should have lost.
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, it's okay.
It was bad.
It was a bad decision. Lance?
This one has Camacho, and Camacho's fun, so it's probably going to be good.
Oh, me?
Yeah, you. Couldn't be.
I like Matt Frevola in this fight, actually. Sarah Longo right now, fire. He's on fire. They're winning. They win fights.
Huh? The rioting got to them?
Yes.
They're on fire?
Yes.
Except for Chris Weidman's next fight. I mean, what are they really?
That's perfect. That's the perfect fight.
Why? I mean, what a downgrade.
He sucks. Get him a win. I like Frevola here. I think Camacho sucks. I think Frevola's training with killers. That team is hot right now. He can take a punch. He has really good cardio. Camacho's an idiot. He does not have good cardio. And I wouldn't be surprised if Frevola actually works in a few takedowns here and there, gets him down and beats him up a little bit. So I do like Frevola. If it stays around, I haven't bet anything yet, but if it stays around like minus 110 to minus 120, 125, I'll probably have a bet on Frevola.
Okay. Yeah, this is a really interesting fight. I had to look at the size difference. Frevola is 1 inch shorter, 2 inch reach disadvantage. I think my issue with Camacho is I feel like he's an undersized welterweight. And when he's fought those kind of bigger fighters, he's like really struggled. But in this fight, I think he's got a bit of a size advantage here. Just the power is an issue with him. But Camacho is just going to throw a lot more. He's a combo striker. And I think he could just win by volume. I guess he's going to have to worry about Frevola with knockout power, but Camacho's not a guy who like really gets like one punch like knockout. You're gonna have to really do a good amount of damage over the course of the fight to get a win. So I'm gonna take the more active fighter in Camacho to get the W, but it should be really good and potentially fight of the night. Let's move on. Oh my goodness, more of this. Courtney Casey taking on Jillian Robertson. Oh boy.
Can we just skip the women's fights? Like, just not pretend they're not happening?
No bet. Picking Casey. She's fought better people.
That's true. Casey's going to win. I think it's pretty clear. I think it was actually a pretty... Why is this fight line even? This is bad.
Jay's going to get some money on this shitty-ass fight.
Yeah, Jay, get in there. Jillian Robertson's got good subs, doesn't she? Is that a thing?
Casey can sub people, too.
Casey sucks. She had lost 3 of 4 before that last win.
Yeah, but look who she lost to, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Michelle Watterson, the fucking shadow boxer.
Somehow she shadow boxes to win sometimes.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm gonna get a little beer here. All right, forget this fight. Honestly, not great. Oh, this one's not great either. Marc-Andre Barriol, is he Canadian? I think he is.
Yeah,
of course he is. Look
is
at
he
that.
Canadian pound number 14?
Haven't they both lost like
unranked.
7 in a row?
He's unranked in the Canadian pound list.
No, he's pound for pound top 5 Canadian.
14th.
Dude, both these guys have
top 5.
The loser of this fight,
pro wrestler to MMA crossover.
The loser of this fight will have.
Wait, he's a pro wrestler for who?
I don't know. Just like locally.
Just
I think.
sounds like a French WWE guy. But yeah, both these guys are on 3-fight losing streaks.
The battle of 3-fight losing streaks. Why is this on the main card?
Streaks gotta go. This is a terrible fight. I was in attendance at Barrios' second fight in the UFC against Jotko.
Sorry to hear that.
Was that boring? It was absolutely brutal. It's nice that the UFC put in about 3 fights, kind of in the middle of a card. If you got to go do some shit, it's a nice little break there. But yeah, I don't want to have money on this fight. It's garbage. And Paichode maybe ekes out a decision. I don't know.
Brad?
Paichode's going to finish him, bro.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus 350 on the knockout. There you go.
What are the sub prop? Is there a sub? What's the sub prop? Do you know that?
425.
I kind of lean more towards the sub, but
Barrio has never been finished.
He's a tough motherfucker. He's a tough dude.
I think sub is more likely.
He just fought shitty fighters.
That's no one's.
Yeah, and he's fighting a shitty fighter on Saturday. He's only all his losses are to the bad guy. Come on.
Paichode has offense. He's got some offense.
This fight.
Are you betting Barrio? You can't be betting Canadians.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I will not be betting a fight between a couple guys that couldn't even make an LFA main card. So I think Barrio's tougher. I think he pushes forward. I think both these guys are really, really bad. So I'll take the guy that's tough to win the fight, but I'm not betting it.
Really closely lined fight. I think it's -120 to Pychode, and
who cares?
Who cares?
Yeah, I have no desire to bet it either. But Pychode's more athletic and more dynamic, and actually has a sub game. Barrios more just kind of like a
Punching bag.
Yeah, bruiser.
Bruiser. Punching bag. Bruiser.
That's not good. It's not good enough to do much in this. And I'm gonna take. I mean, if it comes down to that, I'm just gonna take a dynamic fighter versus a bruiser. Sorry. Let's move
Apology accepted.
The women's fight. Brad is specialty. His girls fighting.
Excited for it, baby. You know,
Brad is very excited.
This was talking about tough guys.
Lover taking on Brianna Van Buren. Trying to remember.
Brad. Lead us off.
Torres is a +175 underdog in this fight.
She hasn't won since Nixon was president.
She looks washed. She looked pretty washed the last couple times, but I mean, I guess her losses aren't against terrible people.
No, they're not. But she's facing a fighter who's kind of on a roll.
Yeah, against trash fighters.
Yeah, that's fair. I agree with all that. What do you got for me? She's lost 4 fights in a row.
I'm probably not touching it, but I'll pick Torres in Tout Master.
4 losses in a row.
It's her by decision.
I mean, 3 of them are against former champions.
Whatever her money line is.
Yeah, it's +280. There, that's. I
mean, is there any female fighter who's had 3 more difficult fights in a row than Torres? Andrade, Joanna, and then China Goat. I mean, that is brutal.
I might have to sprinkle on decision if I can get +280.
Oh, that is absolutely. Wait, her by decision or the fight goes to decision? I was
just Torres by decision.
I don't see it.
It should be exactly what her money line is. She ain't finishing nobody.
What is the fight goes to decision prop?
Oh, it's -405.
How does this fight not go to decision?
Because -405 is fucking pointless.
Well, pointless is, I mean, seems like free money if you ask me. Brad, do you have any? Brad, give us your thoughts on love and commitment.
You know, as Tisha's lover, I just want to know how tough does a man have to be to turn her into a lesbian? That's
tough.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
Watch that left hook.
The right-handed left hook, yeah.
So tough. You make fake tickets on your computer and then bring them to a UFC card and then get kicked out of your seats and go in the upper decks.
Fuck, you weren't on that episode when we discussed that.
Did you guys go through this already?
Oh, it was good. Oh. Jerry came on and he fucking broke it down. It was good.
Did you go through the Bro Hugs nickname?
Oh yes.
Where it came about?
It was pretty long-winded, as you would imagine.
He kept hugging me. He hugged me so many times. It was very uncomfortable.
I mean, how do you get a hug name?
Yeah.
Did Kamosi ever check his leg kicks?
Never.
God, that's why he's out of the UFC.
Right.
If he would have just listened to Bro Hugs.
He almost got that guillotine like he told us he was going for, though.
Hey, man, make sure you're getting those leg kicks in.
What a gem.
Too good.
Yeah, he turned Tisha into a lesbian, by the way. If you guys didn't get the reference there.
So he claimed. He claimed. You guys talked about Tisha Torres in that episode too?
No.
Oh, Bro Hugs told us that he slept with Tisha Torres, and then she became gay. True story.
You fill in the blanks.
Sleeveless was there that night too.
Yep. There was a homeless dude hitting on his wife.
That was a night. Was that the same night as the midget?
Yes.
Yes.
No, later. Well, one was the fight card. One was the day before the fight card.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we went to Acme, and that's where we saw Kamosi.
This all happened. I didn't know the name of the place. I forgot the name of the place.
Acme Feed. It's one of the most I don't.
Which was the place where? What was the name of the place where we got the waitress to throw ice down like Brad's pants or something?
Oh, that was
some random.
That was a shithole. That was that was Riverfront. It closed.
Oh, you know the name. Jesus, God bless you. Your memory's good.
I mean, I've worked right
There's
there
like
for 10 years.
500 places though. You know, it's
She was into me though. She was into me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Fair.
why you guys only pay her like $50 to dump a pitcher of water on me.
That was a fun.
Yeah.
Was that all one weekend? The whole
Yeah.
all that stuff.
That was all. Yeah.
That's the same weekend. Was it the same weekend where we went to my parents on that Sunday?
Brad and I stayed there.
Yeah, I stayed at Barry's.
Well, that was the day that I was supposed to fly to Singapore.
Yes.
And I got my bag packed to go to Singapore for 13 days. You have to mentally prepare yourself for a 28-hour trip.
And my flight got delayed too, I think.
I don't want to hear your flight got delayed to Jersey. I was flying to Singapore, and my flight got delayed because it was just my flight from here. So Singapore is 28 hours of travel time, 24 hours in the air. And my 1-hour flight from here to Dulles got canceled because a stewardess sprained their ankle. So I got delayed 24 hours. So I literally got my bags from baggage check and went back home and met them at the pool. And that's I don't know if you guys knew this. That was the same day we found out Helena was pregnant with Shane.
You didn't tell us that part.
What a weekend!
Yeah, there you go.
That is a weekend. And then the next day I went to Singapore.
Top three all time.
And then I went to Singapore that very next morning at 7 a.m.
It was Mother's Day, I think.
Well, I think that's why we stayed with Barry, because Lance was leaving.
Yeah.
Singapore is great.
Or it was the day, something like that. Yeah.
So many lady boys. Whew.
Sling.
Handful, if you know what I mean.
Clay Guida, baby.
No one heard my lady boys coming?
Yeah, we heard you.
Handful.
Hanging with the lady boys.
Hanging with the boys.
Lady boys.
Hanging with the lady boys.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey man, he got his win. He got his win. He's vindicated.
Is it my turn to break down this tremendous fight?
Are you gonna? I don't
Yes,
know.
I just have one stat.
What is it?
Tisha Torres has 18 fights in her UFC career.
One finish.
And tough. And one of those 18 fights has been finished.
Yes.
One.
So you're laying the minus 400.
What can I get on first round? And how bad do you have to be to be the one person that got finished?
Juliana
Tisha
Lima.
Torres?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know who that is, but she's not very good. So I'm not betting this because Tisha Torres sucks. She's fought good people, but when you're a loser, you lose. And bro hugs.
She's more into being a wife. She's more into being a wife than a fighter.
Do you think when he was telling us that he banged Tisha Torres that he thought we believed him?
Yeah.
And then right after that story, like a couple months later, she came out. And then it made that story so much better because he's like, why did I pick her?
Now I believe you.
Anybody on the fucking roster.
I should have said Paige Van Zandt.
Then nobody would fucking even give him.
No one believed Tisha.
That's fair. That's fair.
Have you seen that guy? What's with the beard thing? He has no he shaves he takes the mustache off and then the sides. It's not good.
I'm not commenting on this.
It's not a good look. He's an embarrassment to my people.
I'm gonna be a diplomat.
Jay, what do you give? Do you give a shit about this fight?
Not really. I mean, I've been fairly impressed with Van Buren from what I've seen. But this is definitely by far the best opponent that she's facing. Torres can't finish a fish sandwich if it hit her in the face. Well,
she can finish a fish sandwich, Jay. She finishes one every night. Come on.
I know. I set you up for that one. I know. That was the point. I'm glad you
get out of here.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So, but Torres 4 losses in a row. I know 3 of them were against killers. It's tough to say that any fighter who's lost 4 times in a row could win the 5th fight. I think it's really hard to suggest that. So I'm going to take Van Buren because of that. That's it. I have nothing else to say.
I don't think I've ever seen her fight.
I've never heard of her. But I can name a guy who lost 4 fights in a row and then won a fight.
Van Buren's 4'11", Brad, by the way.
Ooh, let's play quick trivia.
Torres is like 5'1", so not much of a difference.
Who's lost 4 in a row and won one?
Yeah,
probably the shortest fight in UFC history, combined height 10 feet tall.
Brad, in the UFC, see if you can name the guy who lost 4 straight fights on the UFC and then came back and won a fight in the UFC.
Dan Hardy?
I don't know who that is.
Did he get cut in between, or is it all the same?
I believe he is technically still in the UFC.
Technically. Mirko Krokop. No.
That would not be technically
in the UFC.
This is good trivia.
Technically?
Give me time to think about it, and I'll pop back with
All right,
Can you give us a nationality, or is that too obvious then?
I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
He's a Lance guy.
Gray Maynard.
Boom, nailed it. The bully.
I thought
I
thought the Nog or Orlovsky might have been there too.
So he lost to TJ Grant, RIP, Nate Diaz, Ross Pearson, and Alexander Yakovlev, and then he came back and beat Fernando Bruno, who does not have a Wikipedia page. And then he lost to Ryan Hall in that fight where there was literally no fighting interaction. And then he beat Teruto Ishihara.
Oh,
yeah, I remember that.
And then he got knocked out by Nick Lentz, and now he just goes on Twitter and talks about Joe Silva's very, very tiny penis.
Yeah,
Teruto Ishihara, my favorite terrible fighter ever. Like, he might be the worst fighter I've actually enjoyed.
It's sexy time. It's so sexy. Does he still fight? He lost like every fight he ever fought.
Yeah, he finally got cut, I think.
He lost to Artem. He got killed by Artem at one point.
Yeah, that was the bad loss when you lose the.
So he won a couple of fights in a row and he was hilarious and he won by knocking. Everyone was like, "This guy's awesome." And then he lost five. He lost 5 of 6
after the fights and like grinded on fat women and stuff.
It was pretty fucked up that he lost to Artem and Gray Maynard and Jose Alberto Quinones. You know who they gave him? Peter Yan.
Yeah, and then Kung Ho Kong too. What did this guy do to Dana or whoever? He just must have fucked him over. He got a couple killers.
Every time he lost, they gave him a harder guy to fight.
Jesus Christ.
But he did beat Julian Erosa, so I get it.
And Rolando D.
Brad, how upset are you that your boy is being fed the Jan?
Who?
Aldo.
He's not getting fed to him. He's going to beat him.
He could.
I don't know why you're impressed with Peter Pan just floating around doing.
You're out of your fucking mind.
I think there's a chance he could. I don't think it's.
It's very, very, very unlikely.
I don't think Jan's nearly as good as a guy like Aljo or stuff like that. I don't know. Aldo could be. I mean, Aldo arguably won a decision over Marlon Moraes.
Why are you so impressed
Jan would
with
beat
this guy, Jay?
because he's great.
What's he great at?
He's not an American. He's an American.
Amazing,
Who cares?
Though. I mean,
You think he's a better striker than Aldo?
What?
You think he's a better striker than Aldo?
Now?
Do you think he's a better striker than Aldo?
Right now he is. Yeah,
right now.
He's a better striker, yes.
I don't think that anybody's they might be able to fight at a higher pace for him for longer, but you're not a better striker than Aldo.
Dubronx is a better striker than Aldo.
Do you think he's going to be able to take Aldo down?
He doesn't need to, Brad.
Oh,
he's not going to try to, I don't think.
No. It sucks that Aldo is old now.
Aldo's a berserker now. It's different game.
He doesn't even leg kick.
Doesn't need to.
I think he hasn't leg kicked for a decade.
Jan's thing is Jan is very Lineker-like in the fact that he backs you into a corner.
Jay, don't do that.
The style is similar. He's not a berserker in the same way as Lineker, but he backs you in a corner and throws strike after strike after strike.
Let's talk about
that fight in a couple of weeks.
Can't wait.
Let's talk about
real fighters like Clay Guida versus Bobby Green.
We'll do an avatar bet, and that's going to be fine on that one. That's fine.
New Sean, Clay Guida, Bobby Green.
You know, for all the shit that we talk about Bobby Green, we always say that he never throws a strike. He lands almost 5 strikes a minute.
I don't know that.
That's because almost every fight they put him in a striker contest.
Nerd
So I mean, Clay Guida,
he's won one of his last 7.
Really? Seriously?
Yes. God damn, are you serious?
Wow. One of his last 7.
Oh, because he got the draw with Renata.
His only win in the last 6 years. In the last 6 years, his only win is Eric Koch. In 6 years, Eric Koch. That's his only win. Eric Koch.
Eric Koch is not very good at fighting either.
And that's his only win in 6 years. So save your strikes per minute, nerd alert.
Wolf City.
I'm not betting either side.
Brad, you see this guy?
Clay Guida getting finished by fucking Jim Miller is not a great look. He didn't look great against BJ Penn. I'm not taking the dog here. I'm not taking the favorite. I'll pass. I think Bobby Green has a decision.
I mean, you can't really have any confidence in this fight, no matter what. I mean,
not according to Lance.
Confidence? I mean, you could have an inkling, but confidence
is confident as fuck.
All right, what does Brad got? Is he confident in anything happening?
Yeah, Brad's confident.
That's right. I already bet some Clay Guida in this one.
Yeah.
I know Sean wants to talk about his 5 strikes a minute and whatever bullshit. Like those are that is fake news because this guy doesn't throw 5 strikes around. Never mind a minute. Like Bobby Green just doesn't do things in fights, and Guida, for as stupid as it looks, he's gonna bounce around and flip his hair and all sorts of shit like. And the judges think that he's doing stuff, and he's going to win a decision in this fight. And I took him at plus 195.
Okay. Lance, I guess your opinion is
validated.
Validated.
It's all the Carpenter here. Bobby Green has 1 win in the last 6 years. Eric Koch, terrible. He goes to decision every fight because he just circles around the cage and punches himself in the face more than opponents. He's a real tough guy.
Those count as the 5 strikes a minute.
Maybe that's what it is. When he's like, hit me. Maybe those kind of strikes. And that could be problem solved. Clay Guida is going to be way more active. Bobby Green is not going to put him out. Bobby Green does not knock out anyone. When was the last time Bobby Green knocked someone out? Let's see. That is 2013 Fight for the Troops 3.
Wow.
That was the last time Bobby Green knocked someone out. How many times has Clay Guida been knocked out? Like once or twice?
I don't know. Not many.
Mendez, that's all I can think of.
Ryan Ortega.
He got dropped though by fucking Miller, didn't he?
Brian Ortega.
Frankie got dropped by Gray Maynard 17 times. Gray Maynard then lost 4 in a row and then came back and won. But I think Clay is going to be way more active on the feet. Clay is going to push forward. Like Brad said, Clay is going to look like he's winning. And that's important in fights like this because he's going to push forward. He's going to circle. He's going to charge in and land a bunch of arm shots. But that's going to be the biggest strike of the round. And then he's going to work in some takedowns. He's going to fight for takedowns. He's going to push him against the cage. And Clay Guida is going to easily win this decision. And I think plus 200 is outrageous. So I will be betting on Clay Guida.
Okay.
Solidarity.
All right.
Jews.
Yeah, I kind of lean with the latter two guys in a way. The action means a lot. Clay is active. He's got much better cardio. He's facing a guy who can't knock you out. Bobby Green's not going to sub you. I mean, it'd be very unlikely. So I think Clay can go for takedowns too and take some rounds there. At the price, I think it's definitely interesting. 2-1 is pretty nice.
There's definitely going to be a tout that's like, if Bobby Green wins by submission and you're following me and you retweet this, you'll get my bets for free, man.
And here's my bets. Minus 400.
They're going to have a struggle with this, betting anything other than Curtis Blaydes. Huh?
If this fight ends in a draw, you'll get my bets for free.
It's going to be Blaydes. Everyone's
Jay, there's actually a risk that would happen, so they wouldn't put that out.
Yeah, that's too risky, Jay. How they're gonna lose there. I'm a huge bettor. I bet big amounts. Now give me $9.99 a card.
Main card, catch weight, 160 pounds. Who knew? Well, another Lance favorite, Jimmy Miller, taking on prospect. Pretty good prospect, Roosevelt Roberts.
This is a catch weight?
Apparently.
God, Jim Miller's the smallest 155-pounder since Frankie Edgar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was a Roberts thing, just because he fought recently. He doesn't want to cut again. Or
Robertson fought 3 weeks ago.
I met Jimmy Miller. Little man. I'm 100. I walk around at 160 pounds, and I feel like I could have bodied Jim Miller up in that Walgreens. Like I was much bigger than him. Like he would have been a fucking world of hurt in that dairy aisle.
Oh god!
Like I was about to beat the brakes off him. He didn't even know.
And then he would have subbed you.
he would have subbed me really quickly. But once we walked up, he would have felt the power, and then he would have subbed me. Little fella, though. Real little fella. Real weak handshake. Real clammy handshake.
I think that's just the jersey in him.
Yeah, he was like, hi, I'm Jim Miller. I love Jim Miller, though. Great guy, but really weak handshake. Weak handshake.
We're just going to have to trust you on that.
I mean, it was a weak fucking handshake. I was embarrassed. I almost bet Melvin Gillard that fight.
Sean, what do you got in this fight?
I like Roberts here. Jim Miller looked okay against Scott Holtzman last time, but it wasn't enough. And I think Roberts with he has an 8-inch height advantage or some shit.
8-inch? Not bad.
6-inch.
Not as nice.
Part 3.
But I think Roberts is pretty good. Like, I know he had that loss against our favorite Twitter character, Vink Pickle. But I think he's looked good in his last 2 fights. That Brock Weaver fight, that was just one-way traffic. That was a pretty easy win. I just think Jim Miller's kind of over the hill, and Roberts has a pretty nice stand-up game and ground game. So I took him. I got the opener at Bet Online at -175 for 2 units. I laid it.
Okay, Brad?
I don't love Robert's stand-up game, and even in this fight, if he uses it to take a decision or something like that, fine, it's a possibility. But Jim Miller only really struggles against guys that are power punchers or the very, very few guys that can actually out-grapple him once you get into grappling exchanges. And I think at this point in Robert's career, he's still going to get into a lot of scrambles and a lot of exchanges on the ground with Jim Miller. And that's a pretty dangerous place for him to be. So, again, I'm not as confident in this one as Guida, but kind of leaning towards Jimmy Miller in this one and thinking about maybe a little 2-1 bet.
So, do you think he has any way to win not by sub?
No.
I'm Brad. Like with Miller, like do you think he could win by decision?
No.
Is Brad frozen?
Yes, he is. You fucking. Oh, there we go. He's back.
Brad, did you hear me?
You cut out as soon as you started talking.
Do you think Jim Miller could win any way besides decision or besides sub?
I think he could win a decision in a grappling match.
It's unlikely though.
Sub was +400. That's why I asked.
Yeah, that would be
Seems logical.
Probably what I'm leaning towards.
There you go. So yeah, I think this fight goes one of 2 ways. I think it's a Jimmy Miller sub, or it's a Roberts knockout. Jim Miller doesn't fight through adversity anymore.
That's a nice way of calling him kind of a quitter.
If he's gonna win, good for him. I'd be the same fucking way, right? If I'm not gonna win a fight, like ball game. So I think it's gonna be a Jimmy Miller sub. He catches him in a sloppy takedown as Robert's trying to take him down, or I think it's Roberts just beating his face in until Jimmy quits. The under 2.5 is even money right now, or -105. And I think there's going to be a finish in the first couple rounds. So I'll be betting the under here, -2.5. But I have a sneaky suspicion. I can't talk because I'm trying to say 2 words at once. I think Jimmy might catch a neck here and put him out. So I have a sneaky suspicion. And I was saying suspicion to get a submission, but I couldn't pull off the words. It was too many fucking S's. But I think Jimmy Miller might get lucky here and grab a neck and finish him off. But I think under 2.5 is a pretty good bet here.
That's the only way. I mean, lucky is the only way Jim Miller wins this fight. He's 10 years older. He's smaller. And he's facing a guy who's on a roll. Also, talent gap, athleticism gap. Bad matchup. Roosevelt Roberts rolls here.
Wouldn't you think a guy who has great guillotine would have a strong handshake?
Who cares?
I mean, I almost broke his.
Like,
I thought I was gonna break his hand because you know this handshake.
You love him.
I mean, you could imagine the handshake that these forearms can produce.
Stranger. My second or third favorite fight on the card coming up, welterweight division. Lyman Good, another New Yorker. Is he a Tiger Schulman guy?
He's a New Yorker. Yeah, he likes New York. Yeah.
Yeah. Tiger Schulman guy taking on Bilal Muhammad. This is going to be Dushan. I'll let you kind of set the stage.
Yeah, it should be a fun fight. I think most of it is going to take place on the feet. We've seen Bilal Muhammad take a pretty good ass whooping, so he'll probably be able to stick it to a decision if he needs to. I don't really have an edge in this fight. I don't know how good Lyman Good. I remember him in Bellator.
Yeah. He was good in Bellator.
He looked good until obviously he fought really good guys. But anytime he's at a step up from not shitty guys, he's lost. But I'll probably pick Muhammad, but I don't really have a good idea of who's going to win this fight.
Brian, what kind of insight can you share?
Yeah, I feel like Sean's kind of on the right track in some of the stuff he's saying, because Lyman Goods look really good against guys that are on sort of that mid-tier. But anytime he goes above that, he usually gets a matchup that's like way above that, like when he fought Demian Maia. Like that's a dude that's just
bad matchup.
Yeah, he's just way out of his class. So he's not going to win that. So I think there's still a lot of middle ground to find with Lyman Good at this point. Even though he's 35 and has been around forever, it's still really hard to know where exactly he fits in. And I kind of look at this fight similarly as the Eliza Dushku fight, which was really competitive. He looked good in that one. And I think Dushku's better than Bilal Muhammad. So I kind of lean towards Good in this fight. But there's really no confidence here. This is one I just want to watch.
Lance, what you got?
Jay, you were slacking.
I just assumed that you would just talk as opposed
Say
to
my name, bitch.
You made me think I was frozen again because you just sat there.
Oh, wow.
I like same, and maybe if we're all sort of leaning Lyman Good, we should play him. But Lyman Good loses when he gets to that top tier to really good guys, but he usually beats who he's supposed to. And I don't know if he's supposed to beat Bilal Muhammad. I think he's kind of a mystery to me. Sometimes I think he looks really good. Sometimes I think he's average at best. Not overly impressive. He's not a guy who's really going to kick your ass. He's had some good wins, but not overly sold on him. So I do have a slight lean here on Lyman Good. Not enough at this point. What's the line currently at?
130.
It's got to be more than that. I mean,
it's not.
No,
Lyman Good is plus 110.
Oh, so that's going to be
favored.
That's going to be a whole bag of nothing. I thought if I get Lyman Good at like plus 150, maybe, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting because Muhammad's way more active, throws more volume, has I think a more varied tool set, but he doesn't have much power. And Lyman Good is he might be like all body team for a welterweight. He throws with some heat. So Muhammad's gonna have to dodge some bullets to win this fight. But if it goes to a traditional decision, I think it favors Muhammad just based on work rate. But you have to be weary. I think anytime you face Lyman Good, just because of the potential power, and fight altering power, which Muhammad doesn't have and Good has. So take that into consideration. But it's certainly one of the more difficult fights to call on the card, which I think means it's probably going to end up being one of the better fights. All right. Oh boy.
Ugh. We got a chick fight
on the card. We got the other half of the Torres relationship.
Let's just skip this. Let's just go to co-main event.
Dude, gym teacher, have some respect.
Have
some respect for teachers of America.
Our friend Trish.
Fight goes decision. Put it in a parlay with the Murphy goes decision minus 112.
Pass.
Hard
sure?
pass.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be sitting there, objecting to it anyway.
Okay.
Switching to the good stuff now.
Are you jealous, Brad? What is that? I can't see that.
McClay's.
What is that?
Just Scottish beer. It's not very good.
There's so much stuff in beer in Canada I've never seen before. So that's great.
Crazy place.
Yeah, it is. Lance has no opinion. I'm taking Pennington. She's a better fighter than Gym Teacher. I have a soft spot for Gym Teacher business, but how old is Gym Teacher now? She's 41.
42.
No way. She looks good.
Yeah.
Wow. No, she turns 43 the day before the fight. The day after. She fights on her 43rd birthday. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
gonna win.
How many 43-year-olds have ever won a UFC fight?
Randy and Dan Henderson.
It's an elite category that the Gym Teacher might go into.
Has Mark Hunt won a fight at 43?
Not in the courtroom.
Hey-o.
I'm not sure if Mark Hunt has fought in the UFC, won a fight at 43.
Maybe when Mark Coleman beat Stephen Bonner. Yeah.
He beat Derek Lewis when he was 42 or 43.
Yeah, Mark Hunt's only 46 now, so.
Yeah.
Right. And Olynyk's not 43 yet, right?
Yeah, he just has 90
I don't
fights.
know.
I don't
I'm
think
looking up Mark
Olynyk
going down that rabbit hole now.
Yeah. There's not many.
Nope.
And Renault would absolutely be the oldest female to ever win a fight in the UFC by like a significant number. Tough to do. I don't see it.
Oh, Mark Coleman was like a couple months shy of his 43rd birthday when he beat Stephen Bonner.
So we're probably talking about 2 fighters.
Yeah. Not a lot.
And in the co-main event.
What is the price? Pennington's minus 160? It's probably bettable.
Yeah, we don't care. Speaking of something
Best
that is
fight on the card. Best fight on the card.
Yep.
Been looking forward to this fight for weeks. Shane Burgos taking on Josh Emmett and what should be a featherweight slugfest. Nushan, why is this fight 3 rounds? Should be 5.
Yeah, I guess this is a pretty good fight, and especially the main events that we've been seeing, but they seem to want to supposedly give it to name fighters. I don't know. This could have been the
Burgos should be a name fighter
of last week's card, so I don't know what the fuck the deal is. I was very surprised by this line. Shane Burgos is very fucking good. He's got a 5-inch reach advantage, 5-inch height advantage, and he throws a shit ton of volume.
Yes, he does.
He's also got really good takedown defense, so I think this is going to stay on the feet, and he's just going to be so much faster and better than Emmett. So I really like Burgos in this fight. I put 3 units on him at minus 138.
That's fair. All right. Brad?
Yeah, I only have 2 units on him at this point, but I am also very much on board with Burgos here. Emmett, to me, is still kind of the guy that lost to Des Green and is like a minus 350 favorite. And then he's been living off of that Ricardo Lamas win for a long, long time.
That was a good win.
It was a good win. It was like his chance to always win. It was one big punch that he landed.
Yep.
But then you saw him continue to fight guys around that level, and he got absolutely smoked by Jeremy Stevens. Like, that was one of the most brutal knockouts.
He broke his face in half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, that. He's just not built to fight at this top level. He can win a fight every now and then at this level, but he's not built to consistently fight at that top level. And I think Burgos is. He's a much more varied striker, way more volume. There's a little bit of knockout risk here, and we saw that Burgos did get knocked out by Qatar, but that dude's a way better striker than Josh Emmett anyway. So I like Burgos here, and something that I expect to be pretty much exclusively on the feet at minus 135. So I'm all over that.
Okay. Lance?
Yeah, I like Burgos here. Emmett's not very good, and I feel like he's gotten lucky a few times with the Michael Johnson fight. Michael Johnson was beating the piss and shit out of Josh Emmett before that knockout. That was one of my least favorite losses ever I had a gigantic bet on Michael Johnson, piecing him up the first 2 rounds, cruising in the 3rd round. What was it, like 30 seconds left in the fight or something like that when he got caught?
Right around there.
Like Michael Johnson was about to win all 3 rounds and then just catches him lightning in a bottle. Because I think everyone thought after Jeremy Stevens broke his jaw off his body that was a wrap. And then Michael Johnson comes out and just piecing the shit out of him. But Michael Johnson, man, no lead safe. So I don't think Emmett's that great. I think it's more of circumstance with Josh Emmett on this recent run and this little bit of a comeback. With Bektic, like he fought a guy with no chin. Johnson gets absolutely dominated.
That dude out, so that doesn't count.
No. So I really like Burgos here. Burgos, I don't know what it is about him. He looks like his strikes are just cleaner than almost anyone's. Like,
they are.
He's very clean. He hits very hard. He's very accurate. He lost to Qatar in that fight.
But he was winning until he got knocked
out. It was close. And I think going into that, Burgos was the hyped up prospect, and Qatar is the one that kind of rose through there. But Burgos is legit, man. Like he is a excellent fighter. Burgos is a guy that's going to, I think, keep moving up, and I think he's definitely a ranked fighter. I don't know if he is ranked right now, but he's definitely. Is he right now? Definitely close to the top 10 guy, and he's also pretty decent on the ground as well. So I like him. I think he's going to dominate here.
Let me just look up the featherweight rankings quickly. Burgos is ranked 10th, actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's good.
Emmett is ranked be higher than that.
Emmett's ranked 8th. Stevens is ranked 9th. Go figure. Terrible. Your boy Dan Edge is 11th. Calvin Cutter's up to 6th. Anyway.
Oh, dude, how annoying is it that after Edge got that terrible decision against Barboza, they turn around and we could have had Barboza against Qatar.
I tweeted that as soon as announced. I was like, "Oh my god, the judges stole Qatar versus Barboza from us, you bastards!"
I mean, Edge isn't a bad fighter, and he's actually pretty entertaining. But he's not.
Sucks. Ige sucks. He's
I don't think so.
He has negative power.
I disagree with that.
I hit harder than Dan Ige.
No, you don't.
I think we have the same amount of knockouts.
I don't think so.
Let's see. Do we have the same amount of UFC knockouts, Brad?
UFC knockouts? Yeah,
I think so, right?
I didn't say UFC knockouts.
Oh, he has one. He has one more knockout than me.
That's fair. I told you.
He has a little bit more power than me.
I didn't say that.
Congrats, Dan Ige.
But this fight's really good on paper. The one thing I've been a fan of Burgos ever since I've seen him fight. New York guy, so clearly a little biased there, but I love his confidence in his offensive striking game. He's a go-getter. He gets after it. He throws the volume. But he puts himself in harm's way. I mean, that's really the only downfall is that I think he takes too much damage, and it's going to come back to cost him. It's just not going to be here because, I mean, Emmett can throw at them, and Emmett could land, but Burgos isn't really a guy who's going to get like one punch KO'd. I think that's really Emmett's path to victory is getting that one punch KO because otherwise Burgos is going to have too much volume to lose to Emmett. So Burgos is going to overwhelm Emmett with strikes. And he wins. I think he kind of the longer this fight goes, the longer it plays into to Burgos' hands. I could see Emmett potentially even winning round 1, but the second 2 rounds are going to go to Burgos, and he wins the decision at worst. I wish this fight was 5 rounds because I'd have supreme confidence in Burgos winning, like complete supreme confidence. I think if it was 5 rounds, I think you'd have to line Burgos at least minus 250 to win, maybe more.
Who's scrunching up tinfoil in the background?
I think it's me, Sean.
Definitely not me.
No,
he's a tinfoil hat kind of guy. So
I do not have any tinfoil on me.
Are we going to consensus Burgos?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the cruise.
We've only been saying this for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's the cruise missile, lead pipe, lock, tout.
So we have 2 bets on this card. We got the tout scum parlay, and we got an actual bet. That's nice.
Yeah,
and do we all have Guida? Did we all pick Guida?
I'm not touching that fight.
You're not even of age to drink.
He's not of age to touch anything. Vote, hang out.
Lyman good.
Go to war. He's not going to war anyway. He's not doing anything.
You can't even vote.
So we're going to put 20.25 units on Shane Burgos.
To win what?
I don't know. I think
18.35.
18.35.
If you don't win, you can just delete your account.
It's true.
So you're back to even. It's always max bet season.
What was the site that all the quote unquote touts were?
Capper
Tech.
I forgot about that.
Is that still on there?
Yeah, is that still around?
I think so.
Where does everyone track their bets now? What site?
Bet MMA
tips.
Is it betmma.tips or is it betmmatips.com?
No, it's
dot tips.
MMA.
I didn't know dot tips. I guess that's like.
Can you do that?
Yeah,
betmma.tips. I'm gonna bet 7 units to win 3.62 units.
Yeah.
Main event time. Moving up to maybe the most predictable fight on the entire card.
Here's your change, sir.
Curtis Blaydes taking on top Russian heavyweight Alexander Volkov. Nushan, tell me why this fight ends in under 2 rounds.
I just think it's going to be one-way traffic, especially in that small cage. Blaydes is going to get on Volkov, and he's going to be able to take him down and smash him. Blaydes' stand-up is progressing. It's looked better and better. I don't know if it's ever going to be elite or close to that, but it's good enough in this division. He's going to smash Volkov. I had him in a parlay with Nunes back when it was like the original time they were supposed to fight, so that got canceled.
Sure, you did.
I got a straight bet minus 196 on Curtis Blaydes.
Dude, you're turning into a tout.
1.53.
Stop with these fake bets.
Dude, the guy with
sketchy Russian book, baby.
The guy with fucked house is betting minus 230s and minus 195.
Russian book.
I lay it.
Dude, you're in like tout training.
Book.
Hell yeah.
Tell us the name of the book.
As you can tell by my name, I'm
what
all
book?
about that tout life.
You're in training to
what
be a
book?
tout.
You're not 1x bet.
Oh, I know that is.
All right.
But I have always know that because they usually have
tennis streams.
They have tennis streams, exactly, and very good tennis streams, by the way.
Yeah, I've seen those before.
Yeah, some tennis. Tennis is back in August. Anyway, carry on, Brad. I assume you're on the Blaydes train as well.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he gets it done under 2 rounds. He's gonna have a bunch of periods of time where he's clinching Volkov against the cage and sort of getting takedowns, but not securing them. And Volkov's gonna stand back up, and they're gonna do that for a while, and then eventually Volkov's gonna get tired, and Blaydes will start landing bigger stuff on him. But kind of weird that the over, like some places have it 2.5, some places have it 4.5. Kind of weird that that's the number.
Terrible.
Yeah, that's
what kind of line is that?
It's minus 290 on under 4.5.
That is cheap.
Makes sense.
That is cheap.
That's what Dimes has that.
That is not going. This is not going 5 rounds.
So if you want to bet something, there it is. But I don't really have any desire to bet this fight. Maybe once the Blaydes points comes out and that's a little bit cheaper, it could be something to parlay. But I'm not going to give out some stale lines on the show.
Come on.
That's how you do it.
That's a nice nice word, Brad. Lance, I know you're on the Blaydes train. Tell us why.
It's a giant black wrestler versus a white Russian.
Lance, let me ask you, hog size.
I mean, we're talking 3x if you compare the two. Have you seen how white Volkov is? I mean, that dude's white.
Like that much? Or like that much?
Volkov's like.
But what about Blaydes?
But in comparison to his body, Volkov's like this.
What about Blaydes? Like
Blaydes he's thick.
You think it's more like
so? It's more like around
like that.
Think a 3D figure.
He's thick and he's a big dude, so proportionally it doesn't look big.
But it is.
But
if you put it next to your face, it would look really big.
Or if you put it next to a really small person and then videotape it for money.
Yes.
Look really big.
Yes, that's true. Blaydes is great, man. Like if he's not fighting Francis Ngannou, he's usually in pretty good shape. And Volkov isn't gonna out wrestle him, and I think Blaydes gets his takedowns rather easily. I think we almost just have to block out the Francis Ngannou fights from our memory and just look at everything else Blaydes does, which is amazing takedowns, vicious ground and pound, decent hands for a wrestler. Honestly, like his hands are not bad. Like he had some, they've gotten better. They're getting a lot better. And Volkov's shit, man. Like that guy sucks at fighting.
That, but
he's terrible. He's an awful fighter. He's terrible. Like he's not good. He's not American. Like huge disadvantage right there. Just not being from the greatest country in the world. Freedom, right? Can you feel this freedom? I don't have to wear a face mask anywhere. Just freedom all over there. I piss freedom. Like it's right here.
Private residence if you want.
Volkov's just like he's tall. Like that's cool. Tall people. Like it's good to be tall, but he sucks and gets his face knocked off sometimes.
Volkov is shaped like a boxer.
He's just shaped like a douchebag. Like he's just
shaped
not
like a volleyball player.
He's not. He's not very good, and I don't think this fight is very competitive. So I will be betting Curtis Blaydes in this fight.
Get it?
I think this doesn't go very long because my thing is I don't really see how Volkov stops the takedown. And once Blaydes gets like prime position on the mat, Blaydes has proven now that he's vicious in ground and pound. He might be the best ground and pound guy in the sport at this point. Do you guys disagree with that?
Yeah.
Who's better right now?
He doesn't seem like the best. Like,
there's so many. I don't know where to start. Where do I start? Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis is not better ground and pound.
I mean, I could probably name at least 50 guys, but I'll make sure to get a list.
I don't think so at all. That is
not
accurate.
Curtis Blaydes has the best ground and pound in MMA. That's a statement.
It's very close if he's not. Right now, yes.
Habib
has positional maintenance, but he's not finishing people the same way that he's not smashing dudes.
Well, if you want to say power, then
he's not a heavyweight either.
Well, yeah, if you want to say power,
that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Blaydes throws harder than Habib.
It's like the pound for pound argument. Isn't the heavyweight champion
when someone says who has the best ground and pound in the sport, I'm not going Curtis Blaydes.
I think he's on the ground. Once he's able to take guys to the mat and get position, he's brutalizing people.
I'm taking Derek Lewis ground and pound over Curtis Blaydes.
He's a big dude.
Derek Lewis has we'll
see what his ground and pound.
Derek Lewis has like 15 ground and pound knockouts. Does Blaydes have any?
Yeah, he smashed Overeem.
Wow. Wow, that's him.
Elbowed him to death.
He did. He's got vicious.
He did that too after he tapped.
I mean, I'll take John Jones ground and pound over him.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, R.I.P. But
yeah, no, that's understandable. He's now a community activist, so
militiaman.
But anyway. My point is, if he gets to the fight to the ground, I think he's gonna be able to get the fight to the ground fairly easily. And once he does, and he's able to hold position, I don't really see Volkov getting up. I don't. Blaydes is top 3-4 guy in this division. I don't think there's really any argument against that at this point.
Yep.
He's going to win going away. Knockout City.
And then he can fight Derek Lewis
and
for the best ground. Oh, Derek Lewis smashes Blaydes. He thought Ngannou's dick was too big for him. Shit, son. Black Beast.
Derek Lewis has to not get Ezekiel.
What a hilarious matchup.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be something.
Oh, Derek Lewis might punch his head off his butt. They put Derek Lewis in a guy that uses a cane. It's not nice.
Yeah, it's not very nice. I agree.
Well, that's it.
That's it. Show's over.
Wow.
Not too long. Good time. Pretty good fight card, all things considered.
Great card.
Should we just do a 1 minute look ahead to the fight card after?
No, we shouldn't.
We'll talk about it next week. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's next week.
It's good. Poirier and Hooker.
I forgot Mickey Gall's on that card. Oh, Jesus.
Mike Perry's on that card.
Oh, yeah, he is, my boy.
Gangster shit only right there. Is he marching in the black? Is he marching in the Black Lives Matter protests? Mike Perry?
He thinks he fits in. He's perfect.
He's organizing them.
Do you think Mike Perry's going to take a knee before the fights?
He's defending. He's defending. What he believes in.
He's going to get Black Lives Matter tattooed on his gums.
It's already done.
Who was the other guy? The other racist that hung out with Mike Perry? Alex Nicholson.
Nicholson. Spartan.
We need to bring him back. That guy bangs.
Bro.
He likes to bang.
I'm not looking for role models. I'm looking for a role model in a UFC fighter. Like, I don't care if John Jones hits pregnant bitches. That's not my problem. I'm watching him fight in the cage.
Yep.
What am I supposed to, like this dude who's a cage fighter? Like that.
You really should have been watching mixed martial arts for
son. Look at John Jones. You want to be like him? Oh my God! What have I done? Who's doing that?
No one.
Give me a break. No one.
Idiots.
I don't want to fucking role model.
MMA writers.
Gets locked in.
Need something to believe in.
Gets locked in a cage. Get out of here.
Sure got a union.
Fuck unions.
I think that might be time for.
That's it. That's a wrap.
All right. We'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, I have 2 wins to report to you. One of them is like minus 230, but so what?